Understanding non-value added of non-utilizing resources. This is a big one. This is probably one of the biggest things that drives me crazy is non-utilized resources, because we all have talents that we don't utilize, and that's one of the physical ways, not utilizing your talents. You know, how many people that work in your job really feel like the employer utilizes their talents? From an intellectual standpoint, not giving your ideas, you know, that's not utilizing resources. Or if you give the ideas and then you don't use them, it's non-utilizing resources. Emotionally, when you have negative synergy, people, instead of working together to create positive synergy, people work together to create negative synergy and to hinder the effects of interdependency. Spiritually, a waste of not finding your voice, you know, not doing the things you love that make a difference. So if you think about your voice is when your talents, what you're good at, and what you love doing, overlap with what the world needs. And that's, you know, doing what you love each day is very important. If you don't do what you love, then you're not finding your voice and you're not utilizing yourself properly. A lot of times, you know, I know several people that worked in a factory for 30 years and was miserable. Why? You have a choice. You can go out and find something that you love doing and still make money at it. And that's what people need to realize, is that you don't have to be what you're stuck in. Any point in time, you can decide, you know what, I'm going to go out and do what I love, and I'm going to make money at it. The next waste is a little bit difficult, because it's not like when you're talking about a product getting transported, it's, you know, you have to kind of make the transition here. But let's say you're transporting yourself, either in a car or on a plane. You know, what are some wastes that can happen? So physically, if I look at it from the standpoint of, if I'm driving to work every day, and there's 4 or 5 people that drive to work every day that are in my general area, should I carpool? If I have the opportunity to carpool, then yes. The other thing is, you know, sometimes we live in a rural area, and a lot of times we have to drive to the closest city to either get food or get groceries or whatever. And sometimes we make more trips than necessary. You know, those are non-value added transportation waste. Now, this gets difficult here with intellectual, but sometimes people just drive and space out, if that makes any sense, when they could be visualizing, what can I do, you know, today that'll make me a better person, or visualizing your higher purpose and thinking through it. You know, while you're driving, you could be thinking about important things. I mean, I'm not saying you become so consumed with the thoughts that you're not paying attention to the road, but at the same time, you know, utilize that time, that downtime in the car or on the plane, to think about, you know, what is my purpose, and how am I doing towards achieving that purpose. Emotionally, if you're riding in a car with your family and you don't talk to them, you don't focus on building relationships, you know, that's just waste. You have opportune time to get to know someone if you don't know them, or if they're family, you know, really understand how they're doing, you know, what's going on in their lives. Spiritually, sometimes when you're alone, driving or on a plane, just taking silent time with your Creator, you know, that'll go a long ways and give you peace of mind. If you just use that silent time to sort of reset, charge the battery a little bit. So those are all different things that we can do while we're transporting ourselves, which which normally wouldn't add value. Inventory. Again, I mentioned this one earlier with the groceries, or even possessions. You know, buying things that we don't need. It ties up our money. Intellectually, how many people go to school and then they don't use what they've learned? You know, some of it's by choice, but some of it's not by choice. You know, sometimes you just happen to get into a different industry than what you went to school for. Actually, that happens a lot. But you should still use as much as what you can. I mean, when you go to school, try to apply what you've learned. That's how you retain it. Emotionally, you know, making friends to just have friends. And I'll jump to Facebook on this one. I don't do Facebook, and part of the reason is I don't like the way it takes away the face-to-face interaction. And some people just go for, oh, I got, you know, 562 friends. Well, really, you know, what are you doing when you say friends? To me, what friends are is someone who helps you become a better person, someone who helps you achieve your higher purpose. So you're telling me you have enough time to go out and try to make 562 friends a better person? You know, it's kind of far-fetched. And I think in reality what's happening is you're just trying to validate your self-worth. Oh, I got 562 friends, so you know, I'm better. I'm a better person than anyone else. You know, I just I don't like that. And I don't like it from an emotional standpoint. I think it's waste. Spiritually, performing activities instead of accomplishments. You know, this is, for example, in day-to-day, doing things that mean nothing. You know, playing a video game. What does that accomplish? Doesn't accomplish much of anything. Sometimes it helps you relax a little bit. I understand that. You know, maybe a half an hour here, half an hour there, but the whole 4 hours of video games or 8 hours or all-nighters, or that's just pure waste. Waste of motion. Physically, that would be like an unorganized home. You know, where you can't find your stuff, you're spending more time looking for things than actually doing what you need to do. Intellectually, you know, reading without comprehension. Reading was one of my toughest subjects. I never liked to read because I couldn't comprehend. I would end up reading books and then try to take a test on it. I had no clue what the book was about. You know, so to me, that was an intellectual waste. Emotionally, communicating without listening. You know, that's a waste. Spiritually, going to church, but then you don't pay attention. You know, you walk out, hey, what was that homily about? Well, I don't know. I was kind of sleeping. You know, what value does that add? Why even go if you're not going to pay attention? It's a waste of motion. Extra processing. From a physical standpoint, this is exercising 4 hours a day. Well, yeah, you may add 10 years to your life by doing that, but those 10 years were spent exercising. You know, what's the right balance? Maybe it's an hour a day, a half hour a day. Intellectually, reading for 8 hours a day. You know, it only takes 10 minutes a day to read, and reading a good book, 10 minutes a day, learn what you need to learn and expand your vision of yourself, your vision of the world. Not 8 hours. Gossiping would be an emotional, this is one that drives me crazy too. You spend time on the phone just chit-chatting for 4 hours. What does that gain you? You know, and especially if it's someone that you see all the time. If it's someone that, you know, you haven't talked to in a very long time, then yeah, maybe that makes sense. But you know, if you're just gossiping, talking about, oh, did you hear what so and so did, and you know, that's not adding anything to this world other than getting people worked up for nothing and a lot of speculation. It's all non-value added, it's waste. And then spiritually taking 6 hours of silent time. That's a little bit, quite a bit, excess silent time. It only takes, 10, 15 minutes a day of silent time to reset, to recharge your battery. 6 hours of silent time, you're taking away from time that you can be contributing to the world in other ways. So that's an example of extra processing.